Gupta, thank you very much for your insight. Pleasure having you on the programme. For our next story, we move over to the African continent, where representatives from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda have initialed a peace agreement aimed at ending the conflict in Eastern DRC. The agreement is set to be formally signed on June the 27th. According to the US State Department, the signing of the peace agreement will be witnessed by US Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Washington. The agreement includes provisions for the facilitation of the return of refugees and internally displaced persons, as well as the conditional integration of non-state armed groups and the establishment of a joint security coordination mechanism. It also outlines commitments to respect for territorial integrity, a prohibition of hostilities, disengagement and disarmament. The text was developed over 3 days of what officials described as constructive dialogue between Congolese and Rwandan officials. On June the 18th, technical delegations from the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Republic of Rwanda finalized and initialed the draft text of the agreement. A joint statement released by the two nations, along with the United States and Qatar, who acted as mediators, affirmed the progress made in the peace talks. Now we move over to the Indo-Pacific, where South Korea's nominee for intelligence chief says he believes the US would launch a nuclear strike if North Korea attacks the South with nuclear weapons. Lee Jong-seok, tapped to lead the National Intelligence Service, made the statement at a nomination hearing on Thursday. He said such a scenario is directly tied to the US-South Korea security alliance. Responding to lawmakers, Lee said it was his belief that Washington would risk its own security by retaliating against Pyongyang, even if missiles threaten US soil. North Korea, while never testing a nuclear warhead on a missile, is set to possess the fissile material needed to build atomic weapons. The comment comes amid rising concerns over North Korea's continued weapons development and its aggressive posture towards Seoul and Washington. Lee Jong-seok was nominated by South Korea's new Liberal President Lee Jae-myung, who took office on June the 4th. Now we move over to North America, where Mexicans attended a memorial service for a woman mayor who was shot dead in the western state of Michoacan, just 2 days after another female mayor in the country's south was gunned down in her office. Martha Laura Mendoza, mayor of the town of Tapalcatepec, was murdered together with her husband, according to the Michoacan Public Prosecutor's Office. Mendoza was a member of President Claudia Sheinbaum's left-wing Morena Party. The prosecutor's office gave no further details of the attack, which it described as a femicide, stating only that it occurred in the town. Mendoza's killing follows the murder of Lilia Garcia, the mayor of San Mateo Piñas in Oaxaca State, who was shot dead in her office along with a member of her staff 2 days earlier. In recent years, dozens of local officials in Mexico have been targeted by organized crime groups, particularly in regions dominated by powerful drug trafficking gangs. Well, that's all we have.